10 secrets to unlock your super memory, train your mind, transform your life. The power hidden inside you. Have you ever stared at a page for hours and remembered nothing? Or walked into an exam room feeling confident, only to realize your mind is blank? We've all been there. You study, you try, you push, yet the information just slips away like water through your fingers. You tell yourself, maybe my memory just isn't good. But the truth is, your memory isn't weak, it's untrained. Your brain is like a wild horse, powerful, fast, unstoppable, but only if you learn how to ride it. Most people never do. They live their whole lives thinking memory is something you either have or you don't. But memory is not a gift, it's a skill. And skills can be trained. You can train your mind to remember names, numbers, facts, languages, anything. You can make your mind sharper than it's ever been before. So today, I will share 10 secrets that will help you awaken the sleeping giant inside your head. These are not tricks. They are the habits of geniuses, athletes, and lifelong learners. Each one is a door. And if you walk through all 10, you will never think about your memory the same way again. Let's begin. Secret 1. Focus is your superpower. Your memory doesn't fail you. Your attention does. Think about it. How can your brain remember something you never really saw, heard, or felt in the first place? Imagine you're talking to a friend at a cafe. They introduce you to someone new. You shake hands, smile, say hello, but 5 seconds later, you've already forgotten their name. Why? Because your mind was somewhere else. Maybe you were thinking about what to say next, or about your phone buzzing in your pocket. Your brain recorded nothing. No focus, no memory. Focus is the doorway to memory. If your attention is divided, your brain doesn't open the door. But if you give something your full presence, your eyes, your ears, your heart, the door swings wide open. Every day, the world fights for your attention. Notifications, messages, headlines, noise. But the moment you decide to take your focus back, your memory begins to awaken. Before you study, take one deep breath. Tell yourself, this moment belongs to me. Silence your phone. Close unnecessary tabs. Look at what you're learning like it's the only thing that exists. Because when you learn to control your attention, you gain a superpower most people never master. Secret 2. Understand before you memorize. Too many people try to memorize without understanding. They repeat words, definitions, or formulas over and over, but the next day, it's gone. Why? Because the brain doesn't store noise, it stores meaning. Imagine reading a poem in a language you don't understand. You can pronounce every word, but none of it sticks. But if someone translates it, explains it, connects it to something you already know, suddenly, it makes sense. And now, you'll never forget it. A man once asked Einstein, "What's your secret to genius memory?" Einstein smiled and said, "I never try to remember anything I can understand." When you understand, remembering happens naturally. So instead of asking, "How can I memorize this?" ask, "What does this really mean? Why is it important? How does it connect to something I already know?" Learning is not about pushing information in. It's about connecting new ideas to the ones already inside your mind. That's how understanding becomes permanent memory.
Secret 3. Chunk it down. Build bridges in your mind. Have you ever tried to memorize a whole textbook or a long list of words? It feels impossible. That's because your brain doesn't like long, unorganized information. It loves patterns, categories, stories. Think about how you remember a phone number. You don't memorize 10 digits individually, you group them. 3, 3, 4. That's chunking. Your brain can handle around 7 chunks of information at a time. So if you want to remember more, don't overload your brain, organize it. For example, if you're learning English vocabulary, don't just memorize random words. Group them by theme: food, emotions, travel, business. Now your brain creates little folders. When you need to recall a word later, your brain knows exactly where to find it. Imagine your mind as a giant library. If the books are scattered everywhere, you'll spend hours searching. But if every book has a label, a shelf, and an order, you can find anything in seconds. Chunking turns chaos into clarity. It's how memory masters store thousands of pieces of information without feeling overwhelmed. Secret 4. Repeat smart, not hard. We've all done this, read the same page over and over, hoping it will finally stay in our head. But repetition without timing doesn't work. Your brain forgets fast. That's called the forgetting curve. Within one day, you can lose up to 70% of what you just learned. But here's the secret. If you review the information just before you're about to forget it, you reset the curve. That's spaced repetition, the method used by top students, polyglots, and memory athletes. Here's how to use it. Review the material the same day you learn it. Review again after 2 days. Then 1 week later. Then 2 weeks later. Then once a month. Each time you review, your brain says, "Ah, this again. It must be important." And it moves the memory from short-term to long-term storage. It's like carving a path in the forest. Walk once, and the path disappears. Walk many times, and it becomes a road. Repetition builds roads in your mind, clear, permanent, and ready when you need them. Secret 5. Turn information into imagination. Words are weak. Pictures are powerful. If I say dog, your brain doesn't see the letters D-O-G. It sees an image, maybe your dog, maybe a barking puppy. Your brain remembers visuals 60,000 times faster than text. So the next time you learn something, visualize it. If you're studying history, see the battlefields, hear the horses, smell the smoke. If you're learning anatomy, imagine walking inside the human body. When you turn information into a movie in your mind, it sticks. A famous story. When a young student asked memory champion Dominic O'Brien how he memorized hundreds of random words, he said, "I turn them into images and link them together. If I need to remember apple, train, castle, I imagine a giant apple riding a train into a castle." It sounds crazy, and that's exactly why it works. The stranger, funnier, and more emotional your images are, the deeper they go into your memory. So don't just read, imagine. Don't just see, feel. Your imagination is your memory's best friend.
Secret 6. Teach to remember. When you teach, you learn twice. Think about the last time you explained something to a friend. At first, it was confusing, but as you spoke, things became clearer, not just for them, but for you. Teaching forces your brain to organize information, to find simple words for complex ideas. And when you do that, your understanding multiplies. A famous study from the University of Washington found that students who taught what they learned remembered 90% more after 1 week. Why? Because teaching transforms knowledge into action. So after you study, find someone, anyone, and explain it. If no one's around, teach your mirror. Speak out loud as if you're on stage. The goal is not perfection, it's practice. Every time you teach, you strengthen the memory. Every time you speak it, you own it. Secret 7. Feed and rest your brain. Your brain is not a machine. It's a living, breathing part of you, and it needs fuel. When you eat well, you think well. Foods rich in omega-3, vitamins, and antioxidants literally grow new connections in your brain. Fish, eggs, berries, dark chocolate, nuts, green vegetables. These are not just food, they're brain fuel. But the greatest secret isn't food, it's sleep. During deep sleep, your brain organizes everything you learn during the day. It throws away the useless stuff and strengthens what's important. It's like pressing save on your mental computer. Miss one night of sleep, and your brain can lose up to 40% of its ability to create new memories. So if you want to remember more, respect your rest. Turn off screens before bed. Breathe deeply. Let your brain do its nighttime magic. Because success isn't just about hard work, it's about smart recovery. Secret 8. Move your body, sharpen your mind. A lazy body creates a foggy mind. Movement isn't just for fitness, it's for focus. When you exercise, blood rushes to your brain, feeding it oxygen and nutrients. You release chemicals like dopamine and serotonin, the ones that make you feel good and stay alert. You don't need a gym. A short walk, a few stretches, dancing in your room, all these wake up your mind. There's a reason some of the greatest thinkers, Aristotle, Nietzsche, Steve Jobs, were known for their walking habits. They didn't sit still to think. They moved. Because motion creates emotion, and emotion fuels memory. So if your brain feels tired, don't drink another coffee. Move. Let your body lead your mind back to clarity.
Secret 9. Stay positive and curious. Negativity kills memory faster than time. When you're stressed, angry, or afraid, your brain produces cortisol, a hormone that blocks learning. That's why when you panic during an exam, everything you studied suddenly disappears. But positivity opens the door. A calm, curious mind learns faster and remembers longer. Children are living proof. They remember songs, stories, and languages easily because they play, explore, and ask why. Their curiosity turns learning into joy. So keep your curiosity alive. Ask questions. Don't be afraid of not knowing. Be excited about discovering. Every time you say, "I can't remember," your brain believes you. Every time you say, "I can learn this," your brain believes you too. Feed it with belief. Speak to it with kindness, because your memory grows in the garden of your attitude. Secret 10. Live as a learner. Your memory is not only for books or exams, it's for life. Every moment teaches you something if you pay attention. Remember faces, not just facts. Remember kindness, not just knowledge. Remember lessons from mistakes. Those are gold. There's a story about a traveler who met an old monk in the mountains. The traveler asked, "Master, how do you remember so much wisdom at your age?" The monk smiled and said, "I do not try to remember. I try to notice. Every sunrise, every smile, every challenge, I collect them like treasures. When life speaks, I listen." That's what true memory is, not just data, but awareness. When you live fully, when you stay present, your life itself becomes your classroom. Learn every day. Reflect every night. Write, share, teach, repeat. And soon, you'll realize you're not just improving your memory, you're becoming the person you were meant to be. Conclusion: the journey of a supermind. Your memory is not a mystery, it's a muscle. And like every muscle, it grows with use, patience, and faith. Train your attention,
Understand what you learn. Organize your thoughts. Review wisely. Imagine vividly. Teach boldly. Feed and rest your brain. Move with energy. Stay positive. And never stop learning. Do these 10 things and you'll see it. The fog lifting, the light returning, the power awakening inside you. Because the truth is, you were never forgetful. You were just distracted. You were never slow. You just needed the right keys. And now you have them. So start today. Not tomorrow, not someday. Today. Pick one secret. Practice it. Watch how your memory sharpens, how your confidence grows, how your life transforms. Because when you train your mind, you don't just remember more, you become more.
If this video inspired you or helped you learn something new, please take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the Motivation to Study English for 30 minutes every day. Your support is the energy that keeps us creating better and more meaningful videos every single day.